Hello and welcome to today's video where we are going over who is the dark horse right now. Who isn't being talked about in terms of world's contention. Understandably, we are, a couple months out and the meta is going to shift. And I mean, hell, it's going to be hard to really, predict who's going to win. But I feel like a lot of people know who are being discussed, right? In my opinion, a dark horse is somebody that we're not really giving nearly enough consideration to. So the teams that I wouldn't consider a dark horse at all: Gen.g, easily. Gen.g is, beat one MSI. They're not a dark horse. BLG, not a dark horse. Even though I do put a little bit of doubt on the player move, adding Wei. Wei is a very good player, and BLG still are a world's contending team. The putting Wei in the lineup did not take away that on paper that team is in the conversation for the best team in the world. So that's a thing. Now, outside of these two, we get into a group of teams that I believe are being discussed, but are, I think people could make an argument. But let's just do this. So T1, I expect, they're not a dark horse. They may be fourth in the standings or whatever right now, I believe. But T1, everybody knows if the meta hits it just right, T1 are the best team in the world. So going into Worlds or a couple months out, I don't think it's out of the question to really see them as a very solid chance at winning in the right conditions. Top Esports, to me, I can't consider a dark horse because, well, I predicted them to win Worlds before the season even started. Got Jackie Love, you got Mako, Tien, 369, and Cream has come along. He has come a long way, so that's great. But outside of these four, that's where we can get into dark horse conversation, right? People are kind of forgetting about, well, actually, I'm going to put LNG. No. For instance, JDG is being talked about pretty negatively in my, at least in my Discord, because they've struggled down the stretch a bit. But JDG are a team that has great players in Ruler and Missing and Kanavi. And Sheer is coming along. So JDG are in this second group that maybe, but at the same time, maybe they aren't getting enough respect from the community. And remember, this is just based on my Discord. I'm using that. Maybe in the rest of the community, they're more on point with JDG. LNG. LNG have great players, right? Scout, Gala, Hung. Hung. Gala and Scout. But Wei, Zika has left lots to be desired. And Hung, has definitely recovered from what was a benching before the season started due to Crescent. Now, LNG kind of reminiscent of BLG last year, right? Changing coaches mid-season and then going on a tear. They're top three right now in the LPL. So, going into playoffs, LNG are a team that, could be considered in this group. But I also think there is a difference between these four and this next group. HLE. On paper, they are just as good as these guys. It's honestly these two teams. You could switch them, and hell, Doran's a great player. 369 slightly better than Doran, but great players. Peanut, Tien, I think you could trade easily. Zeka, Cream, you could trade easily. I think the bot duo of Viper, Delight slightly better than Jackie, Mako. I think you could make the case Mako's better than Delight, but I think Viper is quite a bit better than Jackie. Both still in the top five to easily Well, I mean, it is top 5 in the world. So, with that in mind, personally, I think these two teams you could swap on paper, and that's where I talk about my dark horse. I think my dark horse is HLE. Now, I'm going to say G2 is also here, because some Western fans going to say G2 are being estimated and things like that, but let's be real. West is not winning worlds. So, HLE, that is my dark horse right now. And people are going to be like, yeah, but people think they're good enough to win worlds. I don't feel like HLE are getting nearly as not enough praise as a team like this one. When, in my opinion, they're pretty close. And with that in mind, HLE should be in the conversation. Honestly, they're higher than these guys in the standings. HLE have to play a certain style, but I think they're entirely capable of doing it. Viper and Delight go on a tear. Doran and Peanut, they're due. They are due. And, that's a narrative that I could get behind for sure, And they're capable of beating Gen G, I think. They're capable of beating BLG. Capable of obviously beating T1 and Top Esports. HLE have great players, so you're certainly capable of it. And if the meta were to, help them, I think that they would certainly have a case to be made. Does that mean that they are likely to win Worlds? I would say no. They're just, in my opinion, the team that's not being talked about enough. Because JDG, LNG, people aren't talking about them, and I think people can make a conversation for definitely JDG a little more than LNG, but there's a conversation there. And G2 I don't think needs to be in a conversation at all. A team like Anyone's Legend I don't think's in the conversation. D plus Kia, even with Showmaker and Aiming's playing decent, I still don't have enough faith in Aiming and Kellen, and sorry, not Aiming, Kingen and Kellen, even though Kingen's won Worlds before. And Lucid's a rookie. And he's gotten better for sure. And next year, I think he's going to be really taking that next step, and D plus are going to be in that conversation in teams like this, depending on how the rosters end up, turning out next year. But like Anyone's Legend, Shanks is very good. Ale's rejuvenated and playing exceptional in top lane, but I don't, Krakow is what he is, and I think Hope is an Inter, and Kale is very, very good. It's just, I don't know. I guess you could put Anyone's Legend in this. Maybe I'm creating what the talk is about Anyone's Legend right now. Tabe's getting overlooked. I didn't even mention Tabe until, after I already kind of said, Tabe could maybe get this team to a spot over there. They've beaten good teams this year, especially in summer. It's just a matter of, in summer, regular, summer, whatever season it is. Do I want to put, I think Weibo is kind of overlooked too. And I mean, I've been singing Weibo's praises all season long, even if they're struggling. I say, Weibo did go to second place last year at Worlds. Weibo have, one of the best maybe the best Chinese player of all time in Xiaohu. Certainly the most decorated. Arguably, actually I would say he's the second best mid of all time outright, behind Faker. It's just a matter of light and crisp getting the job done. I think Breathe is okay enough, and Tarzan certainly is domestically capable enough of getting that team to the big dance. But whether they win the big dance, it's another thing entirely. I think the Shy really did play a massive role in that. We had a discussion in the Discord a couple days ago. Somebody brought up, that maybe Top Esports, EDG, or OMG last year could have had the same result as Weibo at Worlds, and I don't think that is the case. The Shy was playing like the Shy is capable. No, best top in the world. And Bin is the best top in the world, normally, alongside even 369, with whichever order however you're feeling that day. But that situation like OMG, no way. Top esports, rookie, I guess, could have maybe done something, but EDG certainly not. So I mean, that's a thing. But in my opinion, right now, the team that's the dark horse is HLE. No one's really talking about HLE, at least not to the level that these four teams are discussed. And in my opinion, they have the players certainly capable of getting it done, and they've played good enough to deserve that notoriety and that consideration. So thank you for watching. If you like the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.